Blood pounded in Aisha's ears as the cop's baton swung toward her, his sneer cutting deeper than any blow could. She wasn't just a target, she was a symbol of everything he despised. It was a humid summer night in Chicago, the kind where the air clung to your skin like a lie. Aisha, a 32-year-old black woman, had been walking home from her late shift at the community center, her mind heavy with the day's work, kids to mentor, families to support. She didn't see the patrol car until its lights blinded her, didn't hear the officer shout until his hand was on her arm, yanking her toward the ground. "You fit the description," he barked, his voice dripping with contempt. The description was vague: black, female, suspicious. It always was. Aisha's knees hit the pavement, but her spirit didn't break. She'd faced this before: profiling, aggression, the weight of a system that saw her as less. But this time something snapped. Not fear, not submission, but fire. She twisted free, her eyes locking onto his. "You don't know who you're dealing with," she said, her voice low, steady, dangerous. The officer, Officer Daniels, laughed a cruel, hollow sound. He raised his baton again, assuming compliance would follow. He didn't know Aisha was more than a social worker. He didn't know she was Special Agent Aisha Carter, FBI, working undercover to root out corruption in his own department. The alley was a pressure cooker, the tension thick enough to choke on. Aisha's hand shot to her badge, hidden beneath her jacket. She held it up, the silver glinting like a blade in the streetlight. "FBI, drop the baton, Daniels." His face froze, the smirk evaporating. He stammered, but no words came. For the first time, he was the one cornered. This wasn't just about one bad cop. Daniels was a cog in a machine Aisha had been dismantling for months. Her investigation had uncovered a pattern: black and brown residents targeted, harassed, and brutalized by a clique of officers under the guise of law and order. She'd seen the reports, the complaints buried, the lives ruined. Aisha had joined the FBI to protect, not to stand by while injustice festered. Tonight, she'd been bait, walking alone to draw out the rot. And Daniels had taken it. "You thought you could break me?" she said, stepping forward, her voice rising with controlled rage. "You thought you could hide behind that badge and terrorize my community?" Daniels backed up, his baton clattering to the ground. A crowd had gathered now, phones out, recording the reversal of power. Aisha didn't flinch. She was done hiding. Her mind flashed to her childhood, her father, a bus driver, humiliated by police in front of her. Her brother, stopped and frisked so many times he stopped counting. Her own sleepless nights, wondering if she'd ever be seen as more than a threat. This wasn't just her fight, it was for every person who'd been profiled, dismissed, or silenced. Daniels tried to speak, to justify, but Aisha cut him off. "Save it. You're done." She pulled out her radio, calling for backup not from his precinct, but from her team. Within minutes, federal agents swarmed the scene, cuffing Daniels as his face crumpled in disbelief. The crowd cheered, a raw, cathartic roar. Aisha stood still, her badge heavy in her hand, her heart heavier. But this wasn't the end. Aisha knew one arrest wouldn't dismantle the system. Back at the FBI field office, she pored over evidence late in the night: dashcam footage, witness statements, internal memos. Daniels wasn't alone. He was part of a network. Her investigation would expose them all, from street cops to their enablers higher up. The next morning, Aisha visited the community center, where kids looked at her with wide eyes. "You really took him down?" one asked. She nodded, kneeling to meet his gaze. "We don't just take hits. We fight back with truth." She handed him a flyer for a youth program, her way of planting seeds for change. Word of her stand spread. Protests grew louder, demanding accountability. Daniel's arrest was a spark, igniting calls for reform. Aisha testified in court, her voice steady as she recounted the attack, the pattern, the pain. Daniel sat speechless, his career in ruins, his actions laid bare. Aisha didn't feel triumph, she felt resolve. The system was cracked, not broken, and she'd keep fighting. For her father, her brother, her community. For justice. As she walked out of the courthouse, a handwritten sign on a nearby lamppost caught her eye. Justice fights back. She smiled faintly, her heart steady, her fire unquenched. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.